Hi, I wanted to check in with you one more time as we move into the final stretch of the term. The class has been doing a great job, so let's just keep up that great work. We've covered a lot in this class. I think the mix of what we've been trying to introduce to you is the management side, the operational management side of a small business, together with the income side and how you're generating the revenue and whether it's generating enough for it to be a sustainable business. That's where our feasibility analysis has come in, and all I've been trying to do is plant the seed for you to begin a pattern of analysis for any business ideas you have or any additional income coming in. Because it's not that you even have to start a business. We've been discussing Uber drivers, for example, as a kind of a gig economy job, and they're not really starting a business per se because Uber does everything, but the analysis of whether it's generating enough revenue becomes really important, because after we do that, we find out right now the average Uber driver is only making $10.35. So that's where it might get us to second guess whether it's really worth it. The other thing we've been looking at is how you organize yourself for that income that's coming in, because the reality is most of us aren't going to just have one job. We're going to have a job and then probably a second job and then some third stream of income that might be some kind of side hustle in our life. And so we've also got to look at how we're reporting that income to the IRS, or whether we are. And so we want to become legitimate with all our small business opportunities. That's the goal. And so we decide if we're setting ourselves up as a small business that might be an independent contractor for some of the income we're receiving, which we would receive as a 1099, or whether we're just an employee and receiving it as a W-2, or whether we are that small business that needs to decide what type of legal entity gives them the best tax advantage for receiving that income. I know it gets kind of complicated. That's why that one video I thought really sets things out on how you receive W-2 and how you receive 1099 income. So if you've walked with nothing less than really understanding that, wow, I've got to really think about how I'm reporting all my income to do what's best for me, then I'm happy. I think in addition to that is this feasibility analysis. Regarding the final submission of your feasibility analysis, all you're really doing is putting all the sections together and making any amendments to those that might be based on comments I made or more thought that you had put into it. And then you're adding up to a one-page conclusion. This is the most important part. You're adding a conclusion as to whether you think this can be a sustainable business. That's what the analysis is really about, is looking at the management needs of the business and then looking at a true revenue generating algorithm to see if it's actually bringing enough money to cover the expenses and cover the taxes and give you the desired income you need. If not, then we have to reanalyze whether it's kind of a labor of love or something. Let me give you an example on a business that I had started about 20 years ago. It was based on my tutoring background in the bar exam. That's for students after they pass law school, they have to then pass a bar exam to be able to practice law. And so I began a tutoring service, and then that led to a book called Don't Stress the Bar Exam. So I needed to self-publish. I actually wanted to self-publish to get the most profit out of the idea that I could. So I needed to set up a small publishing company, and I decided upon the name of Pillar House. Here's a look at the logo real quick. And I set it up as a small corporation, and began to have the books printed, and then I did all the shipping myself and did the marketing. I ran it out of my house. I dedicated a room to it because I had to have a little shipping area and then use of a computer to be able to do the marketing and advertising. Unfortunately, its main delivery method was through Amazon, and this was in 2005, and it's hard to go back to that time and remember, but only 3% of American households had bought anything off Amazon in 2005. Fast forward to today, and 90% of households now buy off of Amazon. But in 2005, it was really disappointing because I had it on there and the sales weren't as strong as I'd hoped. But because it was law school related and there's only 200 law schools, I was able to kind of zero in my marketing. I knew my target market was, which was students graduating each year from one of the 200 law schools. My secondary market was those who failed the bar exam and had to retake it. So I really had these two markets I was able to zero in on, and I had the law schools to be able to directly advertise to them, and I had Amazon to really do my complete delivery and whole order system for them. And it was doing fairly well. I was up to about 1,000 books a month going out the door. And so about 12,000 books a year, and I felt like it was a really solid business. But the reality is that the books were only selling for $14.95, and on Amazon, because it's wholesale, they take 45% of that profit. And then when you put in kind of the basic operating expenses, including having to invest into new inventory, all that was left for me was about $500 a month. So basically, with all this work I was doing, at the end of 1 year and selling 12,000 books, I netted about $6,000. And $500 a month just isn't going to really cut it. I mean, it was clearly becoming kind of a side hustle. It worked out to be about $7 an hour for me. And so while it was this real feel-good business and something that really spoke to my heart, and so it was worth it, and I just really enjoyed doing it, it was clearly not going to generate the kind of income that was going to allow me to quit my day job, or that even made sense more than just go getting a part-time job and not having to be so involved with it. So my conclusion was that I had to let the business go. It's ironic because if you were to look Don't Stress the Bar Exam up on Amazon right now, there's used copies that are for sale that are upwards of $40, $50, $60. I think there's even one on there right now for $200. So it's kind of funny, but it's not like a business I could just immediately resurrect, so it's not like that. But I just wanted to give you a real life example because so many of you are thinking about your own business, and so it is hard sometimes to come to the reality that it's not going to generate as much income, or what it's doing is it's challenging you to reinvent your business, add multiple streams of income, and find a way to make it work. But it's at least living in the reality. That's what a feasibility analysis is all about. And that's what I'm hoping you gain from this class. So if you have any more questions about your final project or how to put all the pieces together, just email me and I'm happy to help in any way. Otherwise, thank you very much for taking this class, and I look forward to seeing you in another one of my classes. Thanks.